Good morning. Did anybody else other than me feel a little conflicted this morning trying to pick out clothing that wasn't red? Because, the last few weeks it's just been like, I know exactly what to grab. And today I was like, I have to wear like regular clothes. I can't just preach in my Chiefs sweatshirt every week. So you all look lovely. The sea of red was nice though, but I'm glad to be here with you, to worship with you this morning. If you are visiting with us, we're really glad that you came to join us for worship. Our friends in the pews are going to pass the black booklets and let us know that you're here. It's a great way to see who else is in your pew, learn their names if you don't know their names yet. But if you're a visitor, there's also some cards in the pew in front of you that look like this, and we invite you to fill that out if you'd like and drop it in the offering plate later. It's just a way for us to reach out to you if you'd like to hear more about Crossroads or to get on our weekly email list that goes out on Wednesdays. So, pass that book down, look at the names, see who's there, make sure you greet those folks after worship. Because our worship is more full, more meaningful, because we are here worshiping together. Today we finish our sermon series on servanthood. So I know you're all sad, but this is my last week wearing a stole for our series. Not that I won't break them out for fun sometimes, maybe going forward, or special holy days. But I've been wearing one, as you know, to represent servanthood. Yeah, as stoles represent the cloth with which Jesus washed and dried the disciples' feet. So I thought today I would go with one more from my ordination, which was almost 15 years ago now. So it was a gift on my ordination. But it's been a blessing to share these with you and the story behind them. We're going to continue to worship, and I'll pass it off to Holly.
We're going to continue to worship. And I've been hearing these two words over the last month a lot. I heard them from Ken Snow not 10 minutes ago. So, if you're comfortable, let's rise and greet one another. It's greeting time.
Wow. Oh.
So if you're comfortable, rise, say hi.
They don't know what to do with themselves. Hello.
Hola.
Hello out there. What is it? Swish, swish, wait, wait.
All right, Crossroadians, back in your seat. Good morning, you all. That was so much fun to watch. Ooh, it was a good thing. It was a good thing. So, if you're new to Crossroads or haven't been around for a while, greeting time, that's the first time we've done it since the lockdown. So, over 3 years, I think. So that was kind of fun. It was an exciting thing. My heart's kind of pippy-papping. So, just a reminder as we go into the rest of worship that as far as songs go and sometimes readings, we're locked into words by copyright. But if in your heart you have a different word for something that you see, please feel free to use that. You'll get the idea because I do it all the time. And other than that, as God lifts your spirit, so let it go free and worship.
Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart. And try to love the questions themselves. Like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Live everything. Live everything. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Rainer Maria Rilke.
This reading is called Church. In this place, faith means
step into the questions of life and hold on to the unfolding journey.
This place is for the doubter as much as the believer.
For the wanderer as much as the found.
For the questioner as much as the certain.
it is not a place where you have to believe in authoritative doctrine or sign up to a particular creed, but a place where love and justice are allowed to tangle.
Neighbors have the chance to become impossible friends, and God a possibility.
Welcome to church, a place where all are welcome to explore, to wonder, to seek, and to belong.
In this place, faith means stepping into the questions and holding onto the journey.
Bow your heads with me. Lord God, we ask you to bless these tithings as they come upon us, to help us continue to outreach to do more for those around us and those to come with us. Amen.
The world is in God's hands, which are our hands, which are God's hands. The world is in God's hands, which are our hands, which are God's hands.
Moving on. This reading is called In the Hands of God by Teresa of Avila. I am yours and born of you. What do you want of me? Majestic sovereign, unending wisdom, kindness pleasing to my soul, God sublime, one being good. Behold this one so vile, singing of her love for you. What do you want of me? Yours, you made me. Yours, you saved me. Yours, you endured me. Yours, you called me. Yours, you awaited me. Yours, I did not stray. What do you want of me? Good Lord, what do you want of me? What is this wretch to do? What work is this sinful slave to do? Look at me, sweet love, look at me. What do you want of me? In your hand, I place my heart, body, life, and soul. Deep feelings and affections mine. Spouse, Redeemer sweet, myself offered now to you. What do you want of me? Yours I am. For you I was born. What do you want of me? Just go on. Some of you will know the words, yeah?
Do you want to read some of them?
The nice thing is people at home still have to. It's just for some reason
our projector went out. Okay.
Yeah. So okay. Do your best to sing along.
Do you want to just go past this one and go right to other? It's the one people know the most.
Up to you.
Let's go ahead and do it. Okay, will you come and follow me is the song. It's got a lot of words. So if you identify with the words, you can raise your hand, you can clap. If you know some of the words, sing them out. It starts out, will you come and follow me if I but call your name? Will you go where you don't know and never be the same? Will you let my love be shown? Will you let my name be known? Will you let my life be grown in you and you in me? It's a really cool song when you pay attention to the words. Let's let her rip.
All right.
Follow me if I can call your name. Will you go where you don't know and never be the same? Will you let my love be shown? Will you let my name be known? Will you let my life be grown in you and you in me?
Will you leave yourself behind?
Will you leave yourself behind if I could call your name? Will you care for cruel and kind and never be the same? Will you risk the heart so sad? Should your life attract her care? Will you match my answer prayer to you and me? Will you let the blinded see if I could call your name? Will you set the prisoners with the same? Will you kiss the leper clean? And you touch it in the clean? And if it's too hard, I need in you and you in me.
Will you love the you hide?
Will you love the you hide if I could call your name?
Quell the fear
Will you quell the fear inside and never be the same? Will you lose the faith you found? You reshape the world around. You my guide and touch and sound with you and you with me.
For your summons echoes
For
true.
your summons echoes true and you will call my name. Let me turn and follow you and never be the same. Your company I'll go. Your love and just that show that I'll move and live and grow in you and you in me. In your company I'll go. With your love and footsteps show as I'll move and live and grow in you and you in me.
This next one is an old favorite.
Today's reading is from Psalm 119, 1 through 8. You're blessed when you stay on course, walking steadily on the road revealed by God. You're blessed when you follow their directions, doing your best to find them. That's right. You don't go off on your own. You walk straight along the road they set. You, God, prescribe the right way to live. Now you expect us to live it. Oh, that my steps might be steady, keeping to the course you set. Then I'd never have any regrets in comparing my life with your counsel. I thank you for speaking straight from your heart. I learned the pattern of your righteous ways. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. Don't ever walk off and leave me.
That felt like an old TV screen moment, right? You know, when all the colors would show up. Thanks, Mike. Terry, thank you for continually trying. Since we're talking about humility today, it, I don't know, somehow seems fitting to think you've got online worship all figured out and all the tech, and then the whole darn screen goes down. So if you're new to us, thanks for carrying with us right now, even though you don't know what we're singing. Maybe there's something to hymnals in the pews, right? The only thing is we have to have all of our songs. We'd have to have our own hymnal for our music. Oh, here comes Madeline, the other one who knows all the tech solutions. Madeline, we have no screens. We speak such things and the tech people walk in. Poor Terry. I went all over. I looked outside. I was like, where is he? Because he's often in another space checking the YouTube version for people at home. So I just assumed he wasn't in here. But thank you, Terry. And others for adjusting. And the rest for hanging on. What a funny Sunday. So, having two 6-year-olds, we read a lot of books, which right now when we read books, I have to factor in like 3 times as much time to read those books because, you know, they're learning to read. So it takes us more time as we work through words and such. But one of their favorite books to read, which I imagine many of you are familiar with, is The Rainbow Fish. People know The Rainbow Fish book? Not as many as I thought. I meant to bring it, and I just didn't this morning. I forgot. It's probably in our nursery. But it's the story of this fish that has all these beautiful, sparkly, rainbow-colored scales. And there's another fish that asks if he can have one of the scales. And the rainbow fish is really proud of its beauty and its scales. And so it says, no. And so this fish, potential fish friend, doesn't really want to spend time with the rainbow fish because he comes off as rude and proud. And the rainbow fish begins to see all the other fish spending time and ignoring him because of how he's treated them. And so he goes off and encounters the wise old octopus, who tells him that if he shares a scale, his heart will be happy. And so when he leaves the octopus, he encounters this first initial fish again, who asks one more time, would you please share a scale with me? And the rainbow fish does. And then another asks, and another asks. And soon all the fish in the community have one rainbow scale. And the rainbow fish has one left. And the story ends with the rainbow fish being full of joy and love and happiness because he has shared and made friends and understands what it means to be in community. And his heart is full. It's a great story for teaching children to share, right? But I think it also speaks to us because it is within our human nature, this desire to be great, to be special somehow, to be more than something else or someone else. The rainbow fish experiences it. The disciples experience it, right? There's the classic story of the two disciples arguing about which one of us is greater than the other. And they want Jesus to tell them. And of course, Jesus tells them, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. You're way off base here. We see it in businesses, the need to compete, to be better than, to be more than their competitors. And we see it in churches too sometimes. We look at how other churches are thriving, and one congregation decides they need to do more to keep up with that other church, or to have something that unique that makes them stand out and be special. Hopefully, though, like the rainbow fish, we all realize at some point that this doesn't do anything good for our hearts. What does it say about our hearts when we are just striving to be better than, to be more, to be special, to stand out from everyone else? So this Psalm 119, we read 8 verses of it. And sometimes I say we really should read the whole Psalm because we're missing part of it. But today I chose to not read the whole Psalm and spare you all because it's 176 verses. Which really would have been rough on Holly, or no, Cole read it. Would have been rough on Cole reading it when you didn't get to even see it on the screen if you're sitting in the sanctuary, right? Whew. You're welcome. It's like I knew. So in the version that Cole read is the Message. And in verse 2 it says, I thank you for speaking straight from your heart. It's an interesting translation because the psalmist here is talking about God speaking from God's heart. But if you look at other translations, it's the psalmist's heart. In the NRSV, which is like the most academic of the versions out there, it says, I will praise you with an upright heart. And the Common English Bible, which is also a great version, says, I will give thanks to you with a heart that does right. So when you serve, what is the nature of your heart? What is the condition of your heart? Because I think this is something that God really cares about when we serve. Let's think for a moment about what an upright heart is not. It doesn't seek glory. It doesn't seek applause. It doesn't seek honor for its servanthood. So what is an upright heart? It's not self-serving, right? It's not undivided. It's humble. We might say it's whole. Does anybody else have a word they want to add to what they think an upright heart is? You be quiet on me today? An optimistic heart. Ooh, I haven't thought about that. Kind. Accepting. What did you say, Tim? Peaceful. Accepting. Nice. Yeah. Generous. Open. Yeah. See? Y'all had lots of ideas. Henry Nouwen wrote, real greatness is often hidden, humble, simple, and unobtrusive. It is not easy to trust ourselves and our actions without public affirmation. We must have strong self-confidence combined with deep humility. Now, when I read that, it really made me stop and think, because sometimes when we're serving or helping others, we may not even be looking for acknowledgement to show how great we are, but maybe just to know that we're on the right path. I mean, he kind of says that. It's not easy to trust ourselves and our actions without public affirmation. Others can affirm that what we're doing is good and loving and generous, right? So how do we get past that? And he says we must have a strong self-confidence combined with deep humility. I don't think I usually think about self-confidence and humility together, but it's an interesting pairing. It's an awareness of ourselves, that we are listening to the Spirit, that we are acting in God's way, that we are being instruments of love and peace. With also this deep humility, knowing that we're not doing it to glorify ourselves or our church or our community or our family, but that we are doing it to glorify God and God's kingdom. When we serve in such a way, our hearts are undivided. They're serving God's purpose in creation. Now, I want you to just think for a moment, and I want you to draw to mind a humble servant that you know personally. And I said personally. So you cannot pick people you know like Gandhi or Mother Teresa. We could name lots of those, right? I want you to think of someone you know in your own life or you've known in your lifetime that you would describe as a humble servant. And we're not going to say their names because I think that kind of defeats the purpose, right? When I was writing the sermon and decided to ask you that, one person came to mind very quickly for me. And it's someone in this church, and I'm not going to say their name, but it's someone that is always offering to help, is always asking how they can support something that we're doing, is always lifting up what others are doing too, but never wants to be recognized for what they're doing. They just feel this natural call within them to do goodness, to serve, to love their community, both within and beyond these doors. Think about that person this week. And what is it that you admire about them? What is it that you can learn from them for your own living? So we've been talking a lot throughout this series about communal servanthood. Remember, this is the first week I haven't read from Isaiah. We've been talking about how Israel was called as a servant collectively, that they weren't referencing Jesus to come one day, but that God was saying, hey, Israel, you are the servant. You have to work together. You have to save your people. You can't just sit here and hope that it happens. Or think that if you have perfect worship and your screen always works, that it will happen, right? It's about service. It's about being the hands and feet of God and of Jesus in our communities. So we've been talking about that. What does that mean to be a community that serves? How do those of us that maybe have the energy and the capacity and the time step in and serve in places where those that are weary can take a moment of rest? Because it takes all of us, right? Not just for our church, but for God's kingdom to be created and to thrive. So I found this really interesting, what Henry Nouwen says about community. Community is, first of all, a quality of the heart. It grows from the spiritual knowledge that we are alive not for ourselves, but for one another. Community is, first of all, a quality of the heart. When I read that quote this week, I thought, that's what it is about this place. I think I've said for the 7+ years that I've been here that I've never been a part of a community that was as bonded together and invested in each other's lives as this one. There might be pockets of deep community, but there's a much broader spread here, over decades even for some of you. And those that come in over time get welcomed in and embraced. And we care about each other beyond just Sunday mornings in the pews, right? And so when I read that, community is first of all a quality of the heart. I thought that's what we have. It's that our hearts are linked to one another. They are linked to one another. They reach out and care for one another. They recognize that we are not just here for ourselves, we are here for one another. And I think that fosters within us a whole heart. So we're looking ahead for our church. What is to come in the months and the year and even beyond that? And we're asking ourselves, how will we serve? How will we serve collectively as a whole with this upright heart, a humble heart? I think one thing is to keep loving each other, to keep linking our hearts to one another, and to link our hearts to God's own heart. I think that's something that we can strive for, to live more deeply and more authentically. And it means taking time individually to look at our own hearts. Maybe to see where we need to let go of a desire or what we think is best or better than. And to humble ourselves and to hear the collective community. Maybe it means quieting our hearts and looking within. And remembering that the steps that we take as we go forward are not in service of ourselves, but they are in service of God. They are in service of God's kingdom, something that we experience on the daily here in this community, and that we desire for others to know. So that would be my prayer for us. As we go forward, as we envision our future together, as we take steps to help our church thrive and the kingdom to thrive, that we remember to link our hearts together where they can be at their most whole and generous and loving nature. And they can serve God with great humility. Amen. It's a fun sing-along for the closing song. If you're online, I'm glad you can see the words and sing out loud, so maybe we'll hear you from home. Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe, yeah, you're a slide or two behind where we are. So I think we'll stand if we're able, and even if you don't know the words, maybe you can bounce around and dance a little.
Okay, so just a quick couple of things. The song is For Your Glory. The verses deal with there is a time to live, there is a time to die, yada, yada, yada. Okay? Just for those of us who are older, think the Birds in the 60s, you'll get it. Was it the Birds? Okay, the chorus is, everything I am is for your glory. Everything I am for you, Lord. Everything I am is for your glory. Everything I am for you, Lord. So if you can't catch it on the verses, you can catch it on the chorus. And I'll kind of try and remember to go like this so you know what's happening. Okay, so we had a Impromptu plan. Let's rock.
There we go. Am I better now? Y'all did great. Let me give you a couple quick announcements, and then we'll have our closing benediction. Today, if you are staying after, we have our community meeting downstairs. There'll be a VBS survey, sabbatical policy proposal, and next steps from the retreat, our action steps on how we go forward. Please stay and be a part of that. Hopefully you brought a sack lunch, but if not, there are supplies in the kitchen for you. This Wednesday is the beginning of Lent. It is Ash Wednesday. And so you are invited to come here anytime between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Downstairs in the fellowship hall, we will have stations set up. There will be communion. There will be ashes. You can walk the labyrinth. There'll be something with a rock that you do. So there'll be some different things along with prayers provided for you. It's a very meaningful service, and the opportunity is for you to come when it suits your schedule. Holly or I will be there all day, so if you have any questions, you can see either of us. The book study group that's finishing their book, their Nadia Wool's Bowles Weber book that morning, we'll meet in the community room at 11:30 so that we'll be out of the way. By the way, the next week we start our next book study group. It's downstairs in the fellowship hall in the evenings. Abby and I are leading, and it's Michelle Obama's latest book. So grab the book if you would like to join us for that. And then Thursday night of this week, the 23rd at 6 p.m., is the Moore Squared public meeting, so Metro Organization for Racial and Economic Equity. Last week I said I wanted to take 15 people with me, and 15 people signed up out there. So thank you for that. I added some numbers in case you want to go too, which just reminded me, someone emailed and said, put my name on there, so I need to go add that. But if you are going, there are some little sheets out there if you want to take one of these with you so you have the details for the event. Also, if you can't go, you can pick up one of these cards. They got dropped off with us this week. They're at the same table. They're from Moore Squared, and they give you information about local control of the police department. And there's a little scan QR code so you can show your support and get involved if you want. So you can grab one of those too. If we run out, I'll get the information out. Keep your eyes on the newsletter as it comes out this Wednesday. Check your spam folder if you don't see it, because sometimes it dumps there. But there's lots of things coming up with Lent, including our annual Celtic service, which this year will be on St. Patrick's Day weekend, which is exciting. And we've got some other things going on as well. Well, sorry, it's not on St. Patrick's Day weekend. It's on the weekend of the parade. Let me clarify. Yeah, it's on the weekend of the parades. It's also on daylight savings, which it is like every year. So we make you wake up extra early to come and hear Celtic music. But we make the coffee extra strong, too. So we need to have Irish soda bread downstairs. That's what we need to have that day. So, yeah. All right. What? Irish cheese. Well, if you all have all these ideas, why don't you make it happen on that day? All right, let's stand for our benediction, our prayer that we've been offering every week during our series on servanthood. There are still some copies of it on your way out if you would like to have it with you. It's a prayer by Shantideva. May we become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those in the dark, and a servant to all those in need. As long as living beings exist, for as long as space endures, and for as long as living beings remain, until then may we too abide to dispel the misery of the world. Amen.